Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Lima Tarot by Renata Lechner. For the supportive oracle cards, the Magical Spell Oracle cards by Lucy Cavendish. Alright, already shuffled. Let's go ahead and see. Here, and here. All right, you got the King of Cups at the bottom here, which, let's see where this is going. I don't know why I'm shuffling these. I shuffled these before we started, but I feel like there's three. All right, you got the King of Cups again. I'm pulling into the King of Cups. The Sun card is behind it. This feels like a past influence. Both of these, like, I'm just going to take this off of here, put that down. I feel like you're coming out of a really good time with this situation or this, for example, if it's work or it's family, maybe you're a part of like some type of community type thing, like I'm seeing like a festival for some of you, for whatever that means. Let me know in the comments what that is, because I feel like you're connected with a community type feel. So work, family, some type of community feel. You've had a really good time. You're very happy with how things worked out. You look back and you see where you were very active, but happy with the outcome. Not saying everything was sunshine and roses, but the way it turned out, you're very pleased. Very pleased. Good? Okay. So that's what you're coming off of. That energy is very stable in your life, is what I'm getting. Whatever it is, it's something you want to continue to keep going with. You want to keep the cycle going. This, for some reason, that top part, it looks like a clock to me for some reason. And it makes me feel like going around the hours. Am I going backwards? I'm going the right way. Going around the hours, like repetitive. You know, keep going around the clock, keep going around the clock. You want to keep it going. You want to keep repeating this. You feel very stable and like this is a good thing to keep in your life. You would like to see more abundance to continue to come. Like it's a situation that should keep reaping benefits. Maybe exhaustively repetitive like myself right now. Okay. Whew. In the environment, sentiment is returned and agreed. But I'm noticing a change, a slight change. Now, there is the Ace of Pentacles, which is something very stable, a start. I feel like this is a start based on an old foundation. It's kind of like having the blueprints of what already works and knowing how things work and getting ready to start another time around the clock. Again, I'm getting that clock feel with the Pentacles today, or at least today at the moment. The Star card is very optimistic, very, this worked out before, this will work out again, this is a good idea, this is a good combination of efforts. But you got this card here. The Eight of Cups, which is a good card, but it tends to be a card, not always, but this one feels like walking away from what you're familiar with, or this is in the environment, so somebody walking away from what they're familiar with to go towards something else, feeling like they're going towards something better. So it's leaving some of what is known, or a big portion sometimes of what is known behind, going towards something better, feeling like what's out there is better than what you already have. This is in the environment though, so it's not so much for you as for the energy that's bringing in this next phase. Pulling forth, like, it's a repetitive effort, but so it's almost like if we're going to do the festival thing for whatever reason, and it was like a candy carnival, and there's a lot of candies and confections and food. Now it's like creating another carnival, but this time let's do, trinkets and stained glass and wood carvings and it's like the same idea sort of, but it's built in a whole different way. Instead of having food, we're having trinkets or things you can buy as gifts, things like that. It's the same, but noticeably different. That's what I'm getting from this. Like, it's technically very similar, but it's obviously quite different. Because, like, if you went to the first thing and you loved the sugar and candy confections and the food that was there, and you want to come back to it because of that same reason, that stuff's not going to be there. This is a whole new ball of wax in sense. It may be technically very similar, but when you can't show up and get what you thought you wanted before, like if you're looking for food, and this time there's not going to be food there, that's quite a difference. Good? Alright. But when I see that solid motion from you coming into this, in the actual environment is the Ten of Cups. Everybody seems to be getting along. And it's almost like, yes, it's clearly different, but it's built off the same model. I feel like that's what we want to say. I don't feel anybody stopping this. I don't feel anybody stopping this. And what I feel is it's being pushed forward, like we need to change, but not so much that we fail, but enough that we get new interest in the situation. It feels a little trumped up, or what do you want to say? It feels a little. What do I want to say? What do I want to say here? Oh my gosh, it feels like it's built up a little bit too much. And it feels like it's pushed forward a little bit too strongly. Like, what do I want to say? What is that term I'm trying to say? Was that the right term or a different term? Like, it's being accentuated too much. And there's not as much reality there as just, like, excitement. There's a lot of excitement. But I don't feel like there's a lot of stability to really grasp on and realize that, the people you got to come to the food, they might not want to go and look for gifts. They might want to return for the food. And you might end up with a different crowd. You might have to work to get a different crowd. I feel like that's what this is saying. Now I see you. Next thing that comes in for you is Ace of Swords. Let's get the word out there then. I feel like you're in this quasi spot. Kind of like it could be a bit much. It might, people who came for the food might not come for the gifts. But let me get the word out there now, and let's find out where it's hitting so we can get people excited. So even if they're not really excited now for that idea, maybe we can pass the word around enough that the people who do want the gifts will get wind of it. We can get that crowd coming towards us, or we can at least get some type of feedback of what people think about that. So I see you putting out the word. I see you actively doing the footwork. Like, this went really, really well in the past. People want to make a change, use the same model, different scenario. Seems people are very excited. I don't feel like you're standing in the way. You're like, all right, let's see if it can happen. Let's see if I can get the word out to make sure that this does have a chance, or possibly as successful as it was before. You're actively like, let's push it, let's go, let's do. I'm getting, whatever the change is going on here, I'm getting like a mediocre response. With the Page of Wands, I feel like you're getting a lot of like lip service, like, oh, that's a good idea, that sounds nice. But I don't feel any excitement, like, ooh, I can't wait excitement for it. Using that same analogy, just sticking with that, like, I don't feel like you're getting that response of like, ooh, I can't wait, sounds great. Okay, sounds nice, sounds worth it. Let's see how it goes. Like, I just feel like it's a mediocre, like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. I don't feel anybody flying out their seat. I don't see anybody really excited about this. And I'm kind of getting like this change, and I know we're using the festival, which I don't know if I should be or not, but that's what's coming through. When you're putting out the word, you're getting back this mediocre response. I feel like you, along with the other people involved, are kind of like, oh, it's not bad, but it's almost like you're doing a lot of effort to make changes, to make things more exciting, and it's not moving. It's like you were at slot 5, and you didn't move ahead any, you didn't fall back any. You're doing all this work to stay in the same spot, to get the same outcome, when you could have just did what you did before. So it's kind of like the fruitless win. So you're keeping the same level of success is how it feels. It just doesn't feel like it was worth the change, but it's nothing bad. It's like it's not bad, but was it really worth it? It's like the fruitless win. Like, yeah, technically it's going well, but was it really worth it? Should we have done this? You come in next with the King of Swords. It's very rare to have a shy Scorpio. I'm going to go right out there and say that. Because usually they tell you what they're thinking. I'm just saying. That's been my experience. So you get this, you see how it's going, and you're just kind of like, listen. Before we go too much farther, I got word out there. We got some feedback back. We kind of could go the other direction. I mean, we could go back to doing the food. We could go back to doing what we were doing. I mean, why do all this crazy effort to not really, like, why do that to ourselves if it's not going to make anything better? And I feel like you're out there communicating that. Like, do we really want to do all this effort to end up in the same place? It's kind of like we're already here. Do we want to go down this other side of the mountain and come back up? Like, why? Maybe we should just stay at the top of the mountain. Like, why go down the mountain just to come back up it? Shouldn't we just? Maybe we should just stay here. What do you think? What do you think? I feel like that's how this is coming across, though. Like, basically, like, why do this to ourselves? Let's just cancel the whole thought and just tell people we're gonna do the food again, because it's the easiest thing to do. We're already up here. We already know what to do with that. We already have the things. Everybody, the vendors. We already have everything. So why do that to ourselves? I feel like you're communicating that. Makes sense to me why you would. Makes perfect sense. So, I feel you got romance, true love, and peace. You're giving your 2 cents. Nobody's saying you're wrong. People are agreeing. People are seeing what you're saying. It makes sense. You make complete sense with it. It makes perfect sense. Why do this? Why go down the mountain just to come back up the same spot? We're already here. And you're just like, you're just trying to find a peaceful resolution. You're not saying that's how it has to be done. You're just questioning, like, why go down the mountain to come back up when we're already here? Peaceful. You're being very peaceful about it, though. Like, Scorpios are strong, but right now is not a time where you're pushing your opinion. You're just saying, I'm just saying. It's just how it's coming out. Like, I'm just saying. Do we really want to go down the mountain just to come back up it when we're already here? So, you're calling something out for what it really is. And somebody else who wants to change things does not like it, is what I'm getting. Somebody else who doesn't like it, you're calling things out. And somebody else wants to change things. And I'm getting that 5 of Pentacles here with that 10 of Wands. Like, somebody else is working behind the scenes a little bit. And I feel like they're saying, but I want a change. Like, but we always do the same thing. Like, we should change how this goes. Just to change it. We should change just for the sake of change. I don't like the way that feels. Change for the sake of change, I don't think is a good idea. But, you gotta do what you gotta do. Change with purpose, that's something else. But just to change things up, I'm not the biggest fan. But hey. The 5 of Pentacles is telling me somebody else wants things to change. And it's causing stress in the environment. But I'm also getting this here, between that person and the environment. It's not coming forward to you. I feel like this is completely a blindside to you. Completely. Because this person is unhappy, wants change, and feels like you're standing in the way of change. With rational thought, but still. They have a problem with it. They definitely have a problem with it. What comes next? It's the Knight of Cups face down. This person who wants change is changing the game. And they're pushing forward what they want. The Tower card is happening in this situation. The Tower moment is happening. You made a good point. It seems to me to make complete sense. Why go down the mountain to come back up and end up in the same spot? We're already here. It's like taking a road trip, just, to go around the state and just pretty much drive around it, but not stop and do anything. That's how it feels. Like, just go around the state, but not stop and do anything. Don't even stop to get, a bite to eat. Just kind of like stop for potty breaks. That's about it. Let's take a 5-hour trip just around the state. Oh, we're back. Like, why are we doing that? But they're coming forward with the Knight of Cups. They're creating a shock to the system. I feel like they're coming forward with everything they have lined up, and they're coming forward a second time a lot more passionately with what they want and why they feel things need to change. They're giving more reasons on why to change things. This is why we shouldn't do the same thing again. This is why we should do something different. We shouldn't do the food again. We should do the trinkets. This is why. It's been like this for years, and it's going to take a few years for it to catch on, but this could be a lot more lucrative for us, blah, 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 blah. They're going on about it. The Tower card is telling me it's a complete shock to you and to a lot of other people, but this person is getting their way. And the change is standing. The change will happen. Your reaction to this is the Seven of Swords. So be it. It's cool. I feel like you're still a part of the situation. Definitely still part of the situation, but I don't see you standing in the way of anything. I feel you kind of stepping back like, hey, if that's what people want, that's what we do. I was just giving my opinion. I was just saying how I was seeing it. That's it. Everybody wants to change? Then let's change. I don't feel like you have a problem with it. Like, if that's what we got to do, let's do it. So I feel you just kind of like, when this comes forward and somebody's pushing forward very strong, passionately saying, we need to change and this is why, and the Tower card is saying it's coming forward pretty strongly and pretty shockingly. The Knight of Cups bringing it in is saying somebody's coming into this very passionately with what they feel needs to happen next. I do feel like they're going to get their way. I don't feel you standing in the way. It's just, hey, okay. You're shocked that it's happening, that it's becoming such a big deal, but you're like, okay, fine, it's good. I'm cool. Doesn't matter to me. So this is interesting. I feel like what they're saying is don't let this catch you too far off guard. If this reading is hitting with you, just don't let it catch you too far off guard. I don't feel like this is an attack or somebody is plotting against you in any sense. It may seem a little insulting because this is outside of your frame of reference. You're not seeing what's happening. This person isn't telling you. They're not trying to explain to you why they think this should happen. But they're not siding against you. I do feel like they're intimidated by you and your strength. But they're not against you. They may be a little bit intimidated, though. A little bit intimidated. Scorpios are usually powerful. You know what? Sometimes just being a powerful person is all it takes for somebody else to be intimidated. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. And I think sometimes this is hard for people to understand, but hopefully I make this come across well. Just being a strong person, standing with what you believe in, standing where you said you were going to stand, and articulating it and voicing where you're going to stay. Like, I am standing here, I'm going to stay here, you will not push me off of here. Having the strength to stand with your own will, that's a very, very good thing, but that alone can intimidate people. And I wouldn't let somebody else being intimidated, rock your world too much. It's good to be aware of, good to check things out, but don't let it have a negative effect on you. Because I feel like that happens sometimes to the more powerful signs when they're very confident and they stand and they say, I'm doing this, and they do it. And that's all it takes sometimes for other people to get intimidated. Just don't let it throw you off. When this comes and this change comes, and you're just kind of like, all right, then we can do that. Just remember not to hold any worries or feel like there's any grudges, because there's not. I do think somebody was intimidated. That's why they didn't come forward to you. So they might not have included you in the next step they were going to take forward. Just don't take it insultingly. Just take it, I would take it as a badge of honor, because you're a force to be reckoned with. And that's something in this world, in my opinion. I don't feel you're using it in any negative way. I think we're done there. Good. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.